Marshall.
Marshall.
Oh, there it is.
And Zara. Zyla. Okay, I think I have everybody so far. So now I'm going to let Koya take over so I can start the town hall. So,
I think I'm not in the list.
I'm
Cecil?
still
uh,
I'm still marked as read only or view only.
can you
So
request access, Koya?
I did. I
Okay,
did.
let me go to the email and approve it then.
Sorry.
It's all good. It actually saves me a lot of time. Okay, you should have share access now.
All right, let me reload it.
And then I just finished because Zyla
Yep.
Vishara came in.
Yep. I see it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear.
So if you do not see yourself on the list, please send Koya a tell
Yep.
so that she can add you without me getting sidetracked because I'll be focusing on the agenda and all the stuff we want to talk about today. So, wow, this is a packed basement.
Yeah,
Blair's on the stage.
I don't see myself on there either. I'm on my way to the basement. This is Hazard.
A- As Astari just said, if your name is not on the list, please send Koya a tell. She's on the stage.
There I go. I see you in there now, Koya.
Yep.
Yeah, Min, we're also going to screenshot everybody who's in the voice chat as well so that if we can make sure we didn't miss anybody. So,
Ah,
to preface the meeting, we are going to have a special raffle at the end of the town hall that is dedicated to Endwalker. We have had some FC mates graciously donate several items towards people enjoying the expansion. One of which is a copy of Endwalker, the collector's edition. Um, and we'll talk about that more when we get to the end, when the raffle's happening. So, okay, I'm almost gonna start.
Collector's edition is the physical box, or is that just the digital?
No, it's a digital copy.
Okay. Because I imagine some of us already have it.
Which is why we did it a different way this year. All right, I got my water ready because I usually talk for 90 minutes straight during this town hall. So, welcome everybody to the. I guess I can say this is like a live letter for the FC. But I don't want to seem that like egotistical. But this is the ninth town hall we've had in Waltz, and it just amazes me that it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and the turnout just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. So for those that haven't, you can follow along with the agenda. For those that haven't seen it, sorry, you can follow along with our agenda in Discord under announcements. We are going to be touching on some pretty important things, as well as setting expectations for Endwalker and kind of reminding everybody of the Waltz ethics and morals and what we're looking for to continue doing in Endwalker specifically. So I know that it has, despite how many people that we see here in the basement, it has been a bit of a lull in content. I'm echoing. Is somebody's mic on? If you don't mind muting yourself, just so that there's no echo, that would be amazing.
The car.
Okay, perfect. Great. Yes, so we are just going to be kind of resetting expectations. The whole point of these town halls is to highlight the good things about Waltz, talk about how we're doing, where we want to go, things that are changing, that sort of thing. And because it's been a long time since the last major patch, a lot of us are feeling that content lull. So even though sometimes FC chat seems quiet, that's not going to be the case in a week. It's going to be going nonstop. We're going to have a ton of people returning to the game. So this lull that we've been having is not going to continue for very much longer. So I know that there have been some questions about what Waltz is going to be doing for like events and stuff in Endwalker. So the point of this town hall is to kind of go over everything. So the first thing we wanted to touch on was Waltz, our mission and values, and just kind of remind everybody of the charter and things like that. So generally, everybody who's joined the FC, you did see our charter, so it shouldn't be news to anybody that we're talking about this. When we have our leadership meetings that happen before town halls, we talk about the charter and talk about if anything needs to be updated or if we feel that things are great. We haven't had to make any changes to the charter in probably a year now. So I think that the message that we're trying to convey with what type of player we're looking for is very apparent by what the charter outlines and things like that. It is quite a lengthy read, so I know that people take their time, especially when I get applications into our email where I can tell that somebody has really thought about the charter. So that's great. So there's not really much to talk about as far as changes, but we do want to talk about some of the important things like spoilers and such like that. In the charter, there is a section that does talk about spoilers, what Waltz defines as a spoiler, and up until Endwalker, we've kind of had a no spoiler policy, but it's mostly just been a slap on the wrist type of thing. So when we talk about what Waltz defines as a spoiler, we know that this story arc is coming to an end after 8 years, and there's a lot of members of our community that have played the game for 8 years and are really invested in that story. So comparing to the launch of Shadowbringers with the launch of Endwalker, we have decided to take a zero tolerance policy towards spoilers. And you've probably seen some of us bombarding FC chat with reminders of spoilers. We've put some Discord messages out there. I've made a big announcement last week about what we define as a spoiler and to be very careful about accidentally spoiling. Now, we know everybody respects each other here and we love each other, and I don't think anybody would intentionally spoil content, but we just want everybody to just be extra aware of everybody in the FC, because we will be at cap again after the Endwalker launches. We will probably have another waiting list to get into the FC. I will be doing a massive purge before launch day and kind of removing everybody that's been offline for a long time, just so I can make room for all the people that are going to be coming back on launch day. So there's going to be so many people. We want everybody to be extra cognizant of what is being said in FC chat. So just to kind of touch on spoiler, what we as an FC define as a spoiler would be any new zone names that have not already been shown by Square, any story content, which includes side quest content, fight mechanics on new dungeons, new trials, generally any fight mechanics really. Dungeon boss names or dungeon names are also considered a spoiler, as well as names of trials or trial bosses, NPC names, the list goes on. That's just kind of like a high level of what we consider a spoiler. A great way to think about it is if it is something that Square has not announced themselves or is not in the public domain from Square, treat it as a spoiler. So as you guys know, there are patch notes that come out with every major update. The expansion will be no different. The night the servers go down, we are going to get the full release of the patch notes, and you'll see that Square kind of puts question marks at the names of dungeons, the names of duties, and all that, the names of quests. There's question marks in a lot of their patch notes. It's for the same reason as it is spoiler related. So even though we are taking a zero tolerance to spoilers, we still want people to have fun, and we still want everybody to ask for help as normal. So we're only asking that everybody instead of saying, can somebody help me with, and then the name of the dungeon, you can say, can somebody help me with the level 71 dungeon or level 81 dungeon? Or can somebody help me with, the final trial of Endwalker, stuff like that. Square is so particular about spoilers that even if you've noticed through all the expansions so far, they never use the boss's name as the name of the duty. And it's kind of a similar concept to what we're looking for. We don't want people to accidentally spoil. So let's assume that Garuda was a final boss of story content. I wouldn't want to see somebody say, can somebody help me beat Garuda, the level 80 trial? I would prefer somebody say, can somebody help me with the level 80 trial or level 80 duty? And that way you're still getting the help you're getting. That way you're still, we're still doing the Waltz spirit, which is helping each other without spoiling it for anybody else. Now, the new thing about the zero tolerance spoiler that we are incorporating into this is we also don't want fake spoilers as well. As funny as they might be, or as how ridiculous they sound, we know that people are going to be so invested in the story that they might get upset or angry when somebody cracks a fake spoiler. There was a big one going around the Final Fantasy 14 Reddit thread recently where somebody was mentioning NPCs dying. It was clearly fake, but the comments were crazy, both with people laughing, but a lot of people angry that those jokes are being made. So the reason why we're taking this stance this time is directly related to the Shadowbringers launch. Anybody that's been in the FC for as long as Shadowbringers has started, you probably remember launch day. In the first 2 weeks after launch day, there was so much tension in FC chat. There was so many people walking on eggshells, and there were some people that blatantly didn't care that they were spoiling it for others. And so it just created this really big ball of toxicity the first 2 weeks. And so we ended up losing probably 20 or 25 members because they got so upset with people spoiling stuff that we decided to go with a zero tolerance policy. Now, does anybody have any questions about about that topic, particularly spoilers? You can say it, you can speak in Discord, it's okay. So to answer your question, Moonlight, we have been spamming FC chat. All of the leaders have a macro. Den or Relis, do you want to use it just to show? So we all have, they both posted it. But you can see that we have a macro set up. All the leaders are going to be spamming your face all throughout the next week, as well as Endwalker launches, because a lot of us can't turn off FC chat like you guys can, because we have to keep the peace. We have to make sure that the rules are upheld. So we're just going to keep using that macro. I did see a question about what the punishment is. So that was a nice segue, because we would be, wait a second, Min is saying, is there a low-level cutoff? You should always refer to it as the level. Even currently, there's still people that are working through Shadowbringers. I would start getting in the habit of referring to them by their level and not the name. All right, so back to what Winter had asked, which is what is the punishment? So we don't like to think of it as a punishment because we know that not everybody is going to be doing things maliciously. So during our meeting, we kind of talked about our leadership meeting. We kind of talked about what is acceptable as a punishment, or as how are we going to approach this if it happens? So what we've decided is if somebody is maliciously spoiling stuff and people have asked them to stop and they continue to do so, it's an automatic kick from Waltz with a 30-day punishment. You will not be back in Waltz for 30 days. And that's for malicious spoilers. So obviously that's pretty serious. And if you think about it, like, this is to counter the group of people that really didn't care during Shadowbringers, and I don't think we have them anymore. Like, we have a really good group now. I don't think it'll be a problem, but we did have to set those guidelines. And then for non-malicious spoilers, so this is somebody who might accidentally spoil something, it's going to be a 1 warning, and then if it happens again, it would be the same thing. You are removed from Waltz for 30 days. And we feel that those two are a fair correction, as Liqui pointed out, to protect everybody's gaming experience. And to answer your question, Laser, Relis just said it actually. Don't do things to either blatantly spoil or to frustrate people. So if somebody tells you to stop because they consider what you're saying to be a spoiler, your next step should be to stop. Because if you don't stop, that's where we would consider it malicious. So if someone says, hey, can you please not say that? We're just respecting everybody's wishes when it comes to spoilers. Any questions about that before we move on to the next topic? If you need a reference point, by the way, I will repost my spoilers announcement in Discord as to what we define as a spoiler. But the end goal is we're not trying to make anybody scared, because that's why the warning comes into play. Like, we are truly a great community, and we don't want anybody to feel like this is something to be scared of in Endwalker. If you accidentally spoil something, it's totally fine. And to add on top of that, we will be creating a Discord channel where if you don't care about spoilers, feel free to talk about whatever you want in that channel, because we are going to put an NSFW tab on that channel. So you have to opt into it to see it. That doesn't mean post anything adult, because we're still a PG-13 FC, but it's just a way that you have to literally opt into that channel. So, all right, so now that we've kind of touched on spoilers and that sort of thing, we can talk a little bit about Waltz as a whole and things that have happened in the last 6 months and things that we are looking forward to for Endwalker. So I always like to give a little bit of a history lesson during Waltz, because I think that since we have so many new members, they don't really know how our FC has grown exponentially. But one thing I'm super proud of and very happy to be the FC leader is I have never felt more at home in a community, even in real life. And I constantly talk my friends' and coworkers' ears off about how amazing Waltz is. I have so much Waltz stuff that I'm always bragging about it. So I started Waltz because the first 2 FCs I ever joined in Final Fantasy, the first one, there was so much drama. There was always people fighting. And then the second FC I joined was an 18 plus FC. And it was always about adult stuff. There was always cursing. There was always people making really sexual innuendos and stuff that was just, I guess, gross. So when I started Waltz, I wanted a place where we had a community that just liked hanging out with each other, that just liked doing things together, and where everybody felt safe and comfortable. That was in 2014. That was the first day that I got 3 of my friends to sign the charter, or to get the FC charter from the Grand Company, and we started Waltz. We moved to Genova in 2017. Otherwise, our FC creation date would still show June of 2014. So if you think about it, this is almost 7 years. This is over 7 years of a community growing. And Waltz has been in the top 3 FCs on Genova since September of 2018. We are currently number 1 on the server. And so we occasionally drop to 2 or 3, but we've never dropped below that. So that is a huge, proud moment for me as a leader. We don't talk about that stuff very much because we don't care. we don't care what our position is on Genova. I don't actually actively check myself. People usually tell me. Like Monday, I'll roll around and I'll get a message from Sumi or somebody else saying, "Hey, we're number 1," or "Hey, we're number 2." And for those that don't know, those rankings on the lodestone are based on FC activity. And the more that we do things together, the more points that we earn and the higher our ranking gets. So the ranking is based on FC points. So if you look at the top of the FC menu, it says we have 191 million FC points. Those points are needed to buy the FC buffs that we have, the other things that there's like stuff that you can put in the furnishing items that you can buy with those points. But the important thing is the more that we do stuff together, the more points that we earn. So when you guys are pairing up in groups to do dungeons or trials, we're actually getting multipliers on the point values of those activities. So we did some testing early on in Waltz just out of curiosity. So as an example, if there's a dungeon that is like completing that dungeon is worth 20 points, completing it with one FC mate multiplies that by 2. So now that's 40 points. Doing it with 3 FC mates then multiplies that by 2 again. So now we're at 80 points. And then doing it with a full party of FC mates, that is now 160 points for one dungeon. So fate completion as well is a big one. Like as Reed, you just said in FC chat, it's basically every single thing that we do together goes towards that ranking. And for curiosity's sake, if you're wondering which things or which activities have the biggest return, one is leveling up or earning achievements, and number 2 is turning in dungeon gear to your grand company. Those are worth a heck of a lot of points. So if you're ever bored and you want to dump off your old gear at the grand company, you're racking in a crap ton of points for our FC. So pat yourself on the back, because without you guys doing stuff together, I don't think we would consistently be in the top 3. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for doing, just being Waltz at heart, I guess, doing things together all the time. That's what it's all about, you know? Does anybody want to add anything to that?
Are you taking questions yet?
If you have a point, if you want to add something or you want to ask a question, sure.
So I have 2 actually. I missed the chance with the spoiler thing, but I just was curious. How long do you think that the whole new spoiler rules will last for?
It should be ongoing without stopping.
Oh, okay. I guess I meant more like, will it ever come back to the point where it is now?
At this time, it's not a discussion that leadership has had, but it's something we would consider in the future. We don't want to think about that just yet because we want to get through the launch and get through the launch happily.
Okay, makes sense. And I was just curious if any of the original Waltz founders are still, besides you, are still with us today.
There's one. He takes breaks periodically. His name is NATO. He's in the FC, but he takes extended breaks. He's a really close friend of mine in real life, but he's one of the only originals. And then Koya and Kellen are the oldest members next to me and NATO. They've been around since 2015, I think.
Cool. That was it.
It's been a long time. Wow. All right, so jumping into the next topic then is our escalation process. So I think one of the things that makes Waltz so successful is that not only does everybody love and care and genuinely care and respect each other, but leadership handles a lot of things when they come up very professionally, and we all follow a process. So when anything happens in FC, we do have a process in place to help resolve those concerns. But what always ceases to amaze me is that people that are problematic in Waltz don't usually last because they realize 2 things. One, they don't fit in here because their personalities are way beyond what we are, our morals and ethics. And 2, generally after Walt's leadership intervenes with the situation, they leave because they know that they're not going to get away with those types of behavior. As an example, well, I can say we've probably only ever had to remove about a dozen people in 8 years for bad behavior because people just generally leave on their own when they are, when we do when we handle the escalations. So what I'm going to share now is the escalation process that leadership follows whenever a concern is brought to our attention. And those that are long-term FC members have seen this before because it's not changing. But I am going to post it in the announcement section. So if you take a look at the Discord announcements, we have a flow chart that every single FC leader follows whenever we have a situation that needs to be handled. So for example, if somebody's being harassed or somebody has made a very crude comment or somebody has made somebody else feel very uncomfortable, you can see that we have a standard flow chart that we all follow. Now, where the spoilers fall into this now, so if you look at the flow chart that I posted, you see in the top left where it starts, it says issue was brought forward with evidence. And the next one is the issue blatantly or purposely racist, discriminatory, or malice? And if it's a yes, you can see that it's an automatic removal from Waltz. And that includes the malicious spoilers in any kind of FC communication. But if you follow through this, you see that we are not just going to boot anybody willy-nilly. There's actually a process that we follow. And it's a really nice way for our membership or the FC members to kind of see how we look at things. We don't look at things as black and white. We have a variety of things that we look at. But we never follow this process unless there's evidence to support the claims that are coming forward. But I can tell you that we rarely have to use this, and that just speaks to the caliber of people that Waltz seems to attract. So even though we have this policy and this procedure that we all follow, I don't know the last time that we actually had to use it. Muffin, Den, Relish, do you guys remember the last time? I don't.
Not really. Everyone's been pretty chill and not rude.
Yeah, so we generally only have to use it once or twice a year at most, but that's just because we're just this great group of people. And that's not even me, that's you guys. This FC wouldn't be what it is without you guys here, so think of it that way. Oh, I hear some clapping. That's pretty awesome. So the next thing we wanted to kind of talk about is expectations with Waltz, specifically with where we want to go in Endwalker. So a lot of questions have come up recently, and I think there was somewhat heated discussion in FC chat a couple of weeks ago about raid culture and raiding within Waltz. And so we actually had a very lengthy discussion at our leadership meeting about this because I think people have an expectation when it comes to raiding and when it comes to being in an FC that is not a raiding FC. And what I mean by that is Waltz has always been a casually minded free company where our main goal and our main purpose is to have a place where people feel welcomed and supported. Because we did have a lengthy discussion about this at the meeting because I think all of the leadership team is in agreement when we talk about where we don't want to see Waltz go, and we don't want to see Waltz go down the path of a raid FC. And I'm going to back that up with some history a little bit. So when we first transferred to Genova, I think we had been here for about a year at that point, maybe a bit less. We decided, hey, let's try to recruit some raiders. Let's try and recruit a raiding community into Waltz. So we started to bring in a lot of raiders. We were recruiting, saying that we wanted to be a lot of our advertising when it came to was focused on raiding. And you can imagine what type of player base started to join Waltz. And you guys can probably imagine where I'm going with this. But what happened was FC chat turned into competitive talk, turned into people making fun of players who weren't performing very well. And I think we had brought in 12 medium to hardcore raiders around that time. And as a result, we lost about 30% of our FC because people were so uncomfortable. Back then, we only had like 100 members. So, but 30% was still a lot of people. And we kind of decided that we weren't going to continue down that road and focus instead on the things that we do best, which is fostering a wonderful, positive community. Having said that, we do have quite a number of raiders in the FC. I myself am a raider. Relis is a raider. Yuno's a raider. There are 4 different raid groups within Waltz, and there are still other people that are building groups for Endwalker. So that doesn't mean we are not going to be there to support you if you decide to go on a raid journey. But what we do want to highlight, which is incredibly important, is that Waltz will never be raid focused. You are more than welcome to try to seek help from the FC for your raid groups and your statics, but having expectations that Waltz should be leading people through optional hard end game content is where we want to draw that line. Because in that somewhat heated conversation about a month ago, there was a couple of individuals, and not to center anybody else, who said Waltz does not do enough for raiders. And that made me very upset because a lot of people know I host Savage learning parties periodically, mostly every Saturday, but right now we're having a meeting, so it's not today. But I do a lot, and there are people who help in the background as well. Like I know Yuno and Relis have helped people with their raid groups. Diana has helped quite a many people with their raid groups. So it's not like there's not any help there. But when somebody has the expectation that this FC should be providing raid groups to the membership, we're going to draw a line there and let everybody know that that's never going to happen. We do have so many resources that we're going to help you with. Like if you look at the raid channel, for example, Freya has pinned some pretty excellent resources for how you can build your own raid group. I actually wrote an entire beginner's raid guide and posted it on our website. So if you were interested in raiding, you read through that guide. It tells you how to find a group, how to join a group, how to create a group, all that jazz. But we just wanted to stress the importance of why we are focused on community and togetherness and not focused on raiding. And one of the points that got brought up at the leadership meeting that really resonated with me was we have so many raiders in the FC, and one of the things that they love the most about Waltz is that they don't have to see raiding 24/7. They can raid on their own time. They can do things with their friends. They can go do the Savage content. But at the end of the day, they're seeing people in Waltz talk about food, talk about millions of other things, and not talking about raid. So when we talk about raiding, we're still going to be here to provide you with the resources. But I want everybody to just know that it's more important to us to have a healthy, positive community than it is to provide or help people build raid groups. I hope that doesn't make me sound like mean or rude or anything, because I'm not trying to be, but I just want to make everybody know how important it is to have this positive community. And that's the same thing with when people are complaining about raiding in FC chat, like over and over and over again. End game raiding at the Savage and Ultimate levels is incredibly hard content. The Savage raiding, probably only 20 to 30% of the player base does. And the Ultimate content, probably 2 to 3% of the player base does the Ultimate content. So if you're planning on doing that content, use the resources available to get through it, and don't rely on the FC or FC chat as a means to constantly vent about your negative experience with it, because at the end of the day, it is built in our charter to keep a positive and welcoming atmosphere. And so it's fine to vent once in a while if you're having a crappy time with a trial or a Savage duty. But if you are constantly complaining over and over again in FC chat, no one's going to want to see that. Everyone's just going to want to turn away from FC chat because it's just the same thing over and over again. So I know I just had a crap ton of word vomit come out on raiding. Does anybody want to add anything? Or does anybody want to ask a question for clarity?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes.
So, I'm sorry, I asked this because I know it was put out, I think, earlier in the week, and I think it was before Wednesday, but I'm not sure. I'm just prefacing that while I'm asking it. And there is some confusion in the FC, so I just want to verify. Shadowbringers and below are posting party fighter links for mount farming. Is that still okay, or is that no longer okay?
Oh, it's okay. Because if
Shadowbringers and below is okay.
so you can post party finder links, and I'll tell you why. Because if somebody hasn't done that content yet, it's going to say locked duty. It won't even say the name.
Okay, perfect.
But when you are posting, like what you need help with, you should be the one that makes sure that you're saying level X extreme, or like if you notice a lot of the trials don't even have the name of the boss in them. So like Titania as an example, it's not called Titania Extreme, it's called something else, and that's what you can use as your reference point. You can say, can anybody want to help me with the newest Extreme trial? That's a good way that you can put it too.
So even the current stuff that's unlocking is still going to be okay as long as you don't mention it outside of the party finder.
Yep.
Beautiful. That's all I had. Thank you so much.
So Galden, just as I mentioned, it's okay for you to vent. Like, we're still here to listen. But if that venting goes on for 10, 15, 20 minutes, that's where you want to make sure you draw the line. Because if you start complaining about how crappy another player is, that's not really the Waltz spirit we're trying to build here. And if you even look at the charter, the first point says treat other players with respect, even if they're not a member of Waltz. Because at the end of the day, you can't say you're from a meaningful community if you then go and trash people outside of the community. Because if somebody came to me, and it's happened before, with screenshots, I'm going to send somebody out, even though this didn't happen. So somebody came to me and said, I just did a duty with someone in your FC named Muffinella, and they showed me screenshots of Muffinella was cursing and calling discriminatory racist names. I would...
Damn, you caught me.
I would not let that slide as an FC leader, because you are violating our charter, and I don't want people in the community who are with that mindset, because if they end up using that mindset in the community, they're going to upset somebody. So it's not that I have eyes everywhere. It's just that Waltz is so respected. I don't know if you guys know how respected Waltz is on this server, and it's because of you. It's not because of me. I'm just the face of Waltz, because when they look at Waltz, they see Astari as the FC leader. But all of the comments and feedback that I get from people outside of Waltz are because of members. So the amount of people that have reached out to me and said, so-and-so, I was in a duty with so-and-so, and oh my God, they were the nicest person I've ever been in a duty with. And that's the stuff that makes me even more proud to be an FC leader. So Muffin is what I call her as a joke, as like a pet name. Or Moofy.
'Cause I'm sweet, haha.
Well, that would make you a cupcake.
No, that's my chocobo.
Okay, so now that we're still in the raiding topic, that doesn't mean that we're going to stop the learning parties. Sinjin has already mentioned he's going to continue with his learning parties. I will continue with my Savage learning parties, like they're not going anywhere. But the expectation from the membership and the general Waltz group is that this is not an expectation that Waltz has to provide. It's because I enjoy teaching people. Sinjin enjoys teaching people. So it's not going anywhere. It's just, please don't make it an expectation, because we don't want it to feel like a chore. I never want to log in and be like, ugh, I have to do this Savage party because the FC is going to be mad at me if I don't. I never want to feel that. So, any points or anything anybody wants to add to that point?
Regarding the Savage stuff?
Well, rating in general with Waltz.
Oh no, rating with Waltz is phenomenal. For anyone who hasn't done it yet, please step in. It's great. Nobody judges anybody for anything.
I can tell you doing the synced rates too. Those are like really fun.
Yeah, Sync It Sundays. The goal is to have fun together and laugh at death. Savage content is optional content, and it's hard. So like when the new tier comes out with Endwalker beginning of January, it will take the average group probably 2 to 3 months to clear it. It's just that hard. So I will go back to teaching once my raid group has finished clearing it and started farming it. But just be appreciative of anybody willing to devote that time, because it's not something that Waltz is going to lay forever, or is not going to focus on, you know?
Yep.
Any of the raiders want to add any points? No? Okay. And that doesn't mean that nobody's going to be there for you with questions. I've been raiding for 8 years. Like Relis, Diana, everybody's been raiding. So if you have a question about raid, or like you want a resource, you can reach out to anybody, and they're not going to stop providing those resources just because Waltz is not a raiding FC. It's just that we just want to keep seeing happy things in FC chat, and I don't want to see competitive people saying my parse is 99. Look at my big D DPS, is what his name would say. So.
Hey, Istari, Mara
Yes.
has another question.
Oh, yep. If I use abbreviations in FC chat for duty names. Yeah, you can use abbreviations too. Like how, what's the other abbreviations that they used to do, like Rex and Tex, like Titan Extreme, like stuff like that. Uwu, yeah, that sort of thing. So.
What was that last one again?
Uwu.
You knew what it was.
Say it a little slower for me.
The entire time,
And
every time someone brings it in chat, I have to do a double take.
Ew.
Stop.
I don't even know what to say.
The big thing too about rating, I think, to help double down on some of the stuff Istari said, is that it's not as if we're not gonna be available for rating stuff, just like as an FC. Like, the talk is fine, going over stuff is fine. It is really just about the expectation, right? I think that there's a difference between having people around who raid, who like to raid, and like to do other stuff like that, versus, hey, this is an FC with a lot of people, you'd better help clear me through this content, right? Like that applies to anything even beyond raiding, right? Like, it's great for us to be able to help people out, but it's when people get a little too pushy when it comes to content, and that really kind of makes the people who are doing the rating feel uncomfortable as well. Just like if we were trying to push other things down onto other people, like nobody likes to be pushed on. It's not fun. And so the same people who do a lot of the higher end content, like I know I'll be putting together guides. Like, I do like teaching people stuff. I like spending time going over stuff. I'm always open to questions. But there's a difference between answering questions that I can kind of do asynchronously versus when I'm raiding 5 to 6 days a week, and then people are asking me to come spend, hey, you want to, I need you to come spend another 5 hours with me, progressing on a fight. It's like, okay, it's a little much. So just, it's all about just being mindful of the person on the other side of the screen, right? Like, just because you need help or want something, like, you can always ask, and you should always ask if you want help. But it is you may not always get it on the higher end stuff.
Yep. And when somebody says stuff like Waltz should do more for raiders, it really makes the people who put a lot of effort into that part of the game feel really crappy. So we just wanted to set that line, set the expectations, and we didn't touch on it at the last town hall as much as we should have, but we felt it was a big enough topic to have a whole section of the meeting tonight about. So, and you guys have probably seen the difference if you've been in an FC before where it was raid focused, and then you've been in Waltz. Can anybody speak to that? Like, you can say it in Say Chat if you want, or speak in Discord, but just kind of want those that haven't to know how different Waltz is versus that.
So I can actually speak to some of that a little bit. I used to raid a little bit harder in my earlier days, down like the 5.3 patch, and I don't raid much now. I play with some of the learning parties a little bit, and I can say hands down this group does not judge you or does not pressure you, does not anything. All they want you to do is learn the fight and just have a good time. They don't pressure you. They don't do anything that it's all great. I honestly couldn't ask for anything better. Because some of those people out there can be really messed up. So you guys have nothing to worry about here. If you for anyone not willing to speak up. It's great. I support it.
Not to mention having to be on every night at a certain time, regardless of what, to die constantly. I used to raid back in, the Bahamut Coil days, and ever since then I've just been casually with it. But it's not like that here. That's why I brought up the whole Sink It Sunday, because the whole vibe of that is, people aren't getting frustrated and throwing shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Sink It Sunday, where all of your deaths please me.
That's really just where Istari gets his blood to sustain himself.
Mm.
I have a question that's more of a clarification.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry in advance if this is a bit stupid because I have trouble explaining things sometimes, but this whole thing about raiding and people wanting to raid and learning stuff, is this one of those things where what you define as raiding is different from what I define as raiding, as in like the way when people talk about Pokemon, for example, and when most people talk about that, they're talking about like competitive like play as opposed to casual play. So is it like one of those things where like the savage content that you guys are talking about
We're
here is different from what I've been doing like at the moment, which is like, oh hey, I need like a couple hands to like do the crystal tower or stuff like that.
No,
you know what I mean?
we're specifically talking about the end game high level rating, Savage and Ultimates. We're like the game calls many different things raids. Like there's the Alliance raids. There's the like just regular normal raids, like the story versions of Alexander and Omega and those sort of things. Like that we consider general content, and we're not going anywhere with that. We will continue to offer help. We're going to continue to offer, whatever we can. We're specifically talking about the optional content that you only do if you want the challenge. So Savage and Ultimates. So feel free to keep on talking about like asking for help with those duties or looking for groups to get together for those stuff, because we're still going to be here for that stuff.
So the stuff and I think we've had this conversation before, I think during like the Waltz box, but the Coils of Bahamut would be which category in like this type of discussion?
That is, well, if you do it synced for the challenge, that is considered high-end optional content, because that was the original Savage fights. So
they didn't have a set option back then. Okay,
no, they because what happened with Bahamut was the raiding community mentioned that it was easy, and then the casual community was upset that they couldn't do it because, as you saw from your cutscenes yesterday, it was an epic storyline. And so the casual players got upset that they couldn't see that content. And so what Square decided to do was, from Heavensward onwards, they split it. And so there was a story version of the raids, and then there was a Savage one for the challenge. And so we're specifically talking about Savage level content, which is what Bahamut would be if it was synced down to level.
Okay, I've been meaning to ask that. Thank you.
Moonlight, would you like to add? I see you pointing in FC chat. I think Den actually had a macro for dotting it. Den, do you have that macro still? Somebody.
I sold the chat fixer.
Somebody. So who has it? Do it.
Up.
There you go. So we already have a plan in place for that stuff. So, yeah. So if we see a spoiler, it will be, like we have people on it. So, but FC chat's going to be moving so quickly that it's probably just going to be gone on its own. So. All right, so go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, this is Grim again. I just wanted to chime in with the whole raid experience type thing. I don't have any for high-end for FF14, but I do have some for a different game, whose name I will not mention. But I can say that where I came from, and I was doing high-end, bleeding edge content, um, it was probably a little more similar to Waltz in tone and in just how it was run, but it was still rating focused. So it was kind of like a middle point between the jerk ass put down everyone type of high end guild versus what Waltz is. So it was somewhere in the middle. But there was still that tension, that that anxiety that some people might have, where you got to feel like you got to be at your best, 100% all the time. You got to be on time. You got to do all this prep work. You got to do like 3, 4, 5 nights a week, however many it is. And there's even like it was even like strict loot rules and things like that. So it's it was better than being in that very toxic environment that was described, but there was still all of that, all those emotions, and being here in Waltz, even though my experience is from literal years ago, like I'm saying, like I think almost a decade ago, still being in Waltz as it exists now is a nice break from that. It's nice. It's almost therapy.
Yeah, this is Kara, and I just want to tack on that when Grim was in that particular raiding guild, we were still in a long distance relationship, so I would go up to New York City just to see him, and I can't tell you how much of a strain it was to find out that he was told by his guild, no, sorry, we need you to raid tonight. The girlfriend that you've been waiting to see for months on end, that's gonna have to wait. We need you to raid tonight or else we're gonna kick you out. So I would have to sit there for 3 or 4 hours just...
Yeah, and that's the whole point, right? Like a lot of the a lot of the raiders in Waltz like Waltz because it's a break from raiding. That does not change that we like raiding. Like those that don't know, I consider myself somewhere in the middle of medium core to hardcore as far as rating is concerned. So I would never treat Waltz like I would treat rating. And so keeping them separate is why Waltz is going to stay separate. We're never going to recruit raiders. We're never going to have a raid focused FC. If raiders come, it's because they want to come to Waltz for Waltz and not because Waltz is providing raid. So all right, so I think we've touched enough on the rating part, and I think the tone is pretty clear, and everybody's in agreement that continuing on this path, and now setting clear expectations to everybody that that Waltz is not going to be raid focused is great, great for everybody to know. So, okay, so moving on to the next topic of the town hall, we were just talking about, or we want to talk about what it takes to be a Waltz leader. And this has kind of evolved over the years. Before, when I was first building Waltz, I was looking for people who were, had the Waltz heart, who were kind and they were compassionate and they were nice. Well, we've decided that that's just not good enough anymore for Waltz. And the reason why is because as time goes on, the FC itself also has to evolve, and so does what we're looking for from a Waltz leader perspective. And so when we talk about a Waltz leader, and if you look at anybody sitting on the stage right now who's a Waltz leader, they've contributed back to Waltz in some major way. So for those that don't know, for example, Yuzu is a person that constantly keeps on top of our FC submarines and is always helping out in the background, and Muffin is our decorator who has brilliant ideas for and also draws for the FC. Like there's a lot of things that are being done to give back. Sumi is the one who supplies most of the maps for map night. Like a big 60 to 70% of map night maps come from Sumi. And so I could go down the line, but every single Waltz leader has a contribution back to the FC in some large way. And so when we're looking for future leaders, and we are definitely looking for future, like more leaders, we're now looking for people that are not only compassionate and understanding, but also innovative and creative, who bring new ideas and who want to implement those new ideas. And then the big thing that we're looking for now is people that bring others together. So just being nice is not enough anymore. So if you are ever interested in being a Waltz leader, this is what we're looking for. And it's not just me looking for it. It's like anybody on the leadership team is tasked to provide me with names of people who might be the next Waltz FC leader. And it is a big responsibility, but it's not as big as people might think it is. Because of the community that we've built, the FC just runs pretty much on autopilot now, because there's nothing drastic that's needed in the background from the leadership team. Even though we are, like the joke Relish just said, always watching, we don't have to be always watching, because people respect each other enough that we don't have to be. And yes, there'll be times where we'll have to monitor FC chat more, like with Endwalker coming, but at the end of the day, we've created such a huge space that is just ultimately a positive space, that there's not much. There is a bigger responsibility, but it's not if as much as I think people might think it is. So please let us know if you're interested in becoming a Waltz leader, because we will be watching. Not in a creepy way, but that's what we're generally looking for. And so I'm also going to share the list of the leadership expectations list that has also evolved. And those that were at the last town hall, this has since evolved. So there have been changes made to our expectations list for what it takes to be a Waltz leader. And I'm going to post that in the announcements section right below where the flow chart was. All right, so I just posted it there. So this is mostly, I'm not going to stay too long on this topic, because it's mostly for people who are interested in helping us lead the community. Most of the times I will approach you, because I would already have seen a lot of these behaviors from our members. But the first one, as you see at the top, is be yourself. And that's so important to us, because we don't want any FC leaders to feel like it's a chore. It's the same thing with Savage Raiding. We don't want anybody who's teaching Savage fights that it's a chore. So we want people on the leadership team who not only want to be there, but who want to keep bringing people together and keep growing the FC into bigger and better things. Number 2 just comes with the role, as you see, which is chat moderation. And there are sub-definitions to each of these expectations. Number 3, of course, answer and assist with questions when able. Number 4, embody the free company charter and live the FC's values. These are all things that just come naturally to most of our membership already. Accept or direct members' complaints or escalations. And as you see there, it says utilizing the flow chart. Holding each other accountable and membership accountable to our charter is a big one. And then number 7 is just a sidebar. It's when I kind of touch base to make sure that everybody's doing okay, everybody's happy. And then the stuff at the bottom is just what makes the FC run in the background. So project ownership, having access to the FC email for applications, member welcomes or chat presence. So anybody want to call out who's great at that one? Number 10. Number 10. Everybody just said Hydra. Yep, as you know. And also with chat presence too. Like when Kellen's online, you always know he's online because he's talking. Or when I'm online, I'm always conversing with people. So like that's just natural. FC buff maintenance, so that 10% experience buff that you get just by being in an FC. Event ownership, airships, Good Samaritan submissions, recruitment, event PR, and the one at the bottom, which is member exit interviews. So if you guys don't already know this, leadership always reaches out to somebody who leaves the FC silently, because it's more so as a way to see what we did wrong or what could we have done differently to retain them or to keep them in the FC. Because obviously if somebody's leaving Waltz, there's something that they're getting, there's something elsewhere that they're not getting at Waltz. And for me, it's like, what can we provide? Most of our recent exits have just been people wanting to go to newly formed Friends FCs, or in one specific example, we were pretty sure that the individual went to because they wanted a rating FC, and that's okay as well. But yeah, it's very important to us that members are happy, and it's very important to us that we know what we're doing wrong when somebody leaves, just because I'm a person who always constantly wants to do better. And if there's even the small thing that I can do to better somebody's experience, then I'm going to do it, and we're going to work on it too. So, and like Yuno said, I'm not blowing smoke up anybody's butts when I say we genuinely care. We actually legitimately care. And you can go to any flare and you'll be treated the same no matter who it is, because we just love people. And what's more important than loving people is that we just love seeing people come together. So, any other leaders want to chime in on that one, or anybody want to add anything?
I think the biggest thing is just you can come to us with the good, you can come to us with the bad. If you've got recommendations, suggestions, problems, concerns, thoughts, random ideas, send them all. And you can reach out to any of us, basically either in-game, Discord. I know I've had multiple people reach out to me directly in Discord too for stuff. Again, good, bad, need help on something, random questions about some content. Like, feel free to reach out.
I promise we're all very nice. We're not going to bite nobody's heads off.
I won't bite heads off, but I do bite. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
This is actually true.
That's what a praying mantis would say.
Gallery or anything, just drop me a line or whatever, and I'm more than happy to help somebody, mine something or whatever. You need something for a mat or something, just speak up.
Yeah, and some of our FC leaders may not have as strong as a chat presence as others, but they're always there for you. And that's important too. And I see a lot of the FC leaders are like speaking up now in chat, but just because you don't see us online all the time, or you don't see somebody constantly talking in FC chat, doesn't mean that they're A, watching, or B, helping somebody in the background. So like Koya, for example, takes a lot of breaks from the game, but I don't know if you guys know, she's the mastermind behind the Waltz merchandise store too. So anytime somebody places an order, she's the one organizing and shipping it to you. So like they're always doing something. So, and I know a lot of you guys are going to be sporting your new Inferno jacket soon, or already will be. So it's great. Yeah, so that's what we're looking for with Waltz leaders. I do see some strong candidates. We're not going to call you out because I don't want you to feel shy, but we do see some people that and to be completely transparent, you were the topic of discussion during our Waltz leadership meeting on Wednesday for good things. And the next step is just, are you interested in being a Waltz leader? And if you are, don't be shy to reach out, because if you're already exhibiting all of the things that we're looking for, pretty much we already know about you anyway. So, all right. So, speaking of bringing people together, oh, Relish, you're funny. And the thing too is we don't ever promote a Waltz leader without complete input from all of the rest of the team. And it's every Waltz leader that's been promoted so far has been by unanimous vote too. So, and that's the same with like any removals from the FC. So it's a protection that we have. So if somebody's, so it's just that the system doesn't get abused. If you look at the escalation process, there's actually a vote that we do before we remove anybody from the FC. So it's got to be it's got to be a unanimous vote. There can't be a single no. So Now, speaking of bringing things together, we do have a section of the town hall just to remind people of the things that are going on or available for you for assistance if you need it. So we have a lot of stuff listed on the website as like support programs that most people, I guess, they don't know about. So we use the town hall as a way to just kind of remind everybody of what those programs are and why they're there. So the first one is, for those that don't know, we do have an FC membership guild grant. It's mostly for emergency purposes. And one of them, if, as an example, if you look at the disclaimer for the grant on the website, it says money you can, or gil you can get from the FC to help you get something or purchase something that you would otherwise that not be able to do, and something that's very hard to get. So a house is an example. So I know with new housing company coming, a lot of people are going to be wanting to buy a house. If you're like a couple 100,000 gil short, the FC has a fund in place where you can ask for it or ask for help, and we will help you with that. There are rules around it, so I do encourage you to read the full disclaimer. So because we're not just going to be giving out gil willy-nilly. Like if you come to me and say, Astari, I want a mansion, but I only have 1 million gil, the FC is not going to give you 44 million gil. There is guidelines, so please read it. Another thing that we want to remind everybody of is we currently have this on pause right now because the expansion is just around the corner and all the jobs are changing, is the classes that we typically do on Saturdays. So every Saturday up until last month, we had 2 classes that were taught by veteran players to new players who wanted to pick up a new job. So for example, I would teach Black Mage in the FC yard, or we would have Diana teach AST, stuff like that. Those are coming back in like late January, probably once we've had enough time to relearn all the jobs. So if you are interested in picking up a new job in the expansion and you're not quite sure how to play it, chances are you can come to one of these classes and you will learn. So next thing too is the quarterly newsletter. I know a lot of you guys really love that newsletter. They come out every 3 months. The last one just came out at end of October, early November. So the next one should be coming around January, February. So if you do want to get interviewed or you do want to be a part of the newsletter committee, you can also help. We're typically always looking for help with that, so feel free to reach out. Next thing I want to talk about is the Waltz shop, because there are profits from every time somebody buys an item from the merch shop. There's usually a profit associated with it. The profit margin is very small, but we do use that money to help the FC. So it's not like me or Koya pockets that money. It always comes back to the FC, either via an event prize or assistance in some other way. The biggest use of the profits the last year have been helping people with their subscriptions because of the pandemic. So we had a couple of people, I shouldn't say a couple, we had over 50 people who were struggling with the pandemic. It's over 50 now that were struggling with the pandemic and finances. And they had indicated in one way or another that they had to choose between groceries and Final Fantasy. And that's not something that we want to hear with like the kind of morals and ethics we have. So the majority of the profits from the store the last year have gone to helping people with their subscriptions. So anybody who's bought something from the merch shop, thank you very much, because you've helped somebody have a little bit more happiness in their life because they were able to play a game that we all love. So yay. And all those recent purchases of the Inferno jacket, they're all going to continue to help. The original purpose of the merch shop profits was to help fund a future FC meetup. Eventually, it will transition into that once COVID is done and we can start traveling freely again. But we will be funneling the profits towards renting a hall or something for a weekend somewhere, so we can all meet up. All right, so then one other thing I kind of want to briefly touch on for support programs is the Crafting Emporium. It's gotten very quiet the last 6 months, but the Crafting Emporium was the brainchild of James, and the whole purpose of it was to develop guidelines where people could get crafted items at a lower rate than the market board, while also there being something in it for the crafter themselves. Because a lot of the stuff that people were asked for at the beginning of an expansion is really, really expensive. And it does weigh on the pockets of the person who's crafting it. So what the Emporium did was it created guidelines where both sides of that relationship get something out of it. So there's a guideline for what the crafter gets to keep. Most crafters will do things for free for you if you provide all the mats. But in some cases, if you're missing something, that's where there would be something. But yeah, it's been quiet the last 6 to 8 months, but when Endwalker starts up, because all new recipes are coming out and new battle gear, like level 90 battle gear, it's going to get really busy again. So if you're an Omni crafter or somebody who's going to be crafting right away during Endwalker and you want to help, reach out to James or Muffinella, because they are the people in charge of that program, and they can get you what you need, get you sorted. The FC chest has 2 compartments that are donated specifically for members of the Crafting Emporium to use to help other FC members get things cheaper. So a lot of the materials that you need to make the recipes for like the new gear is going to come from tombstone materials or really hard crafting nodes, or sorry, gathering nodes. If you have an abundance of tombstones, or you just craft meaninglessly and you want to donate items, you can donate them to the FC chest. And then what happens is the Crafting Emporium will use those items and be able to lower the cost of something for another FC mate. So it's all interconnected, and the whole purpose is to support each other, which I think is great. Okay, we're moving pretty quick, or a lot quicker than I thought we would. That's awesome. So now just to kind of touch on events. So we've had limited events this month and last month because of the expansion. But there are some events that I know people have been having a lot of fun with. So is there any FC events or things that anybody wants to see more of? Like things that you think we do awesome that you want to see more of, or? Naked foot race, dartboard.
Oh, somebody beat me to it. Dang. Never mind.
Does movies count?
Well, the last 3 Waltz movie nights, nobody showed up but 1 or 2 people. We tried trivia night, but there was too much cheating happening, so we've taken trivia night away. Nice. Yep. Those are good. We almost canceled Waltz Box or Jack Box because the last, except for this past one, but the 2 before that, nobody showed up. But this last one, we had a blast. Like whoever was at Jackbox on Sunday, I don't think I've laughed that hard in my life. So
It was so fun.
it was, I was dead. I was laughing so hard I was crying. It was so much fun. All right, so I see lots of people talking about parties, foot races. The thing about parties, Becca, is it's the organization that's tricky. So we do our annual goal with Waltz is 4 parties, 4 major parties. So usually it's a Halloween party, a spring party, a Christmas party, and then there's a summer party somewhere in the mix. So because the expansion is so close to Christmas this year, we've actually decided not to have a Christmas party. We do have a different event that we're going to still do, but we'll talk about that in a bit. But we are going to do a Valentine's Day party instead. So in February, we're going to have a big love-based party. So that's the next one to look forward to. Not love-based, but like just fun, just a social atmosphere. Amazing. And then just to mention too, if you guys have any ideas for events, The FC will sponsor the prizes for your event. So our monthly budget for gil prizes is 5 million gil. So if you want somebody to, if you have a really good event idea, like a scavenger hunt, and you have put the idea on paper, you can submit it to the leadership team, and we will fund the prizes. The reason why we've set a limit to, it's not so much like we only have this much gil towards the party. The reason why I have personally set a gil limit to the prizes is I don't want anybody to ever think that a prize, like giving a prize, is unattainable. So recently we had a former member of the FC who wanted to sponsor an event, but he wanted the gil prize to be 50 million gil. And as great of an idea as that sounds, I tried to explain to them that imagine being somebody who has a different FC member who has an idea for an event and they want to come to the FC with it, and then you put that side by side with your event. How is that going to make that other FC mate feel? They're going to feel like theirs is insignificant, and that is completely against what we're trying to, what Waltz is about. So we will fund your event for you, and we're always looking for ideas. Like I have come up with some really creative ideas, like Death Drop Dartboard. I've come up with naked races. Like there's lots of different things that I've come up with, but I'm not an infinite pool of ideas. So please, 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 come forward with ideas if you have them. But what I request is, don't just come with me with the idea. Try to formulate it into a plan, like how you want, how it's going to work, what the judging is going to look like, or whatever the event details are, what you want the prizes to be. If you come to me with a fully formed idea like that, I'll just give you a green stamp right away and say, let's do it. And then it'll be put into the next month's rotation or whatever's coming up. Tronox, absolutely. You can fund your own event if you want. You're more than happy to do that. Just try to make sure to keep in mind the line that we're trying to draw with the Gil Prize. So don't come in and say, sorry, I want to have a scavenger hunt where the prize is 30 million Gil, because I'm just going to say 5 million Gil, and I'll keep repeating that to you. But it's just, yep, and you can do that too. You can donate just for the general. If anybody ever wants to make Gil donations for events, just drop them in the FC chest, because that's where they go. Anything in the FC chest, Gil-wise, funds future events. So
I think the other thing too is your events don't have to be these big, elaborate machinations either. The last event that I started up was Ocean Fishing Sundays, where we all went and got on the ocean fishing boat and fished. That was it. That's the event. It didn't come with a bunch of prizes, but if you think that something would be fun, we had great turnout for that event, even though it didn't have a big cash prize and wasn't this big, complicated thing.
Mm-hmm. And as you guys know, the last couple of months we've had a mana points raffle at the end of the month, because we felt it was important to reward people who were coming to these events. So anybody who went to Sinking Sunday, Fate Friday, Map Night, you all got a raffle ticket towards the draw at the end of the month to thank you for participating. Because as much as we like to say RPGs are a solo game, we are also a massive community playing with doing. I almost said playing with each other. That sounds really bad, but doing duties and things with each other. So coming to those events is just as important as coming up with ideas for events too. So if it becomes a recurring FC event, it will also count towards mana points. So if you have an idea like Relish did with ocean fishing, and we incorporate that into our monthly rotation, our schedule, or even our weekly schedule for events, they will also provide people with mana points too. So even if there's not a guild prize like there isn't with ocean fishing, there is still a reward for an event at the end of the month through mana points. And we're not doing a mana points raffle this month because we have a special town hall raffle instead of that. But the mana points raffle will come back once in December, and will continue onwards, because it just blows my mind that we give out 400 to 500 raffle tickets a month just for people coming out and saying hello and helping out with events. So all right, so I kind of already touched on the next line of the agenda, which is the next 6 months. Most of what I've already mentioned in the town hall tonight is kind of talked about that already. The first thing being the zero tolerance spoiler policy, but more importantly, the Waltz focus on like building the community and being positive and welcoming versus rating, and just going out and doing good in the world. I always like to say, like, the best stories I get are the Good Samaritan stories. And equally as good as those is when another person outside of the FC comes to me with a story of somebody doing a Good Samaritan-esque thing. So believe, like, anytime somebody comes to me and says, I just did this duty with so-and-so and they were so much fun and just wanted to say thank you, I put a Good Samaritan nomination in for them on behalf of the random person. So if you've been out in the world doing nice things, then thank you very much for that, because that is the Waltz way, which is great. So yeah. So Dan, you stole the words from my mouth, which is what I was going to say next, is that there's still 3 days left to get your Good Samaritan nominations in for the month of November. Anybody who's done an outstanding job with promoting Waltz's values, please let us know, because we do want people to feel valued, and we want to reward good behavior, especially when people are doing these nice things just for the sake of being nice and not because they know they're getting something out of it. So you can send them to me privately on Discord. You can send them to me via Tel, but the best way to do it is on the website. There's actually a Good Samaritan form, submission form. You fill it out there, you send it, and it comes to me, and then it counts towards the Good Samaritan for the month. So okay, so the last couple things now is just the upcoming events that we wanted to talk about. So the Waltz calendar and website will be updated tomorrow with all the December stuff. It's going to be a light month because we know so many people are going to be focused on the new content that we don't want to take anybody's time away from that. Not just members, but also people who lead those events. So for example, I won't be doing any more Savage Learning parties for the next couple of months, because next month I'm going to be leveling and doing story content, and then the month after that I'm going to be focused on my own group's rating. And I know that James had already mentioned he is going to continue Fate Friday, but it's generally going to be a lighter month in terms of events. But I do want to point out we are going to be having our annual holiday giveaway. And the leadership team has set the date to be Saturday, December 18th, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. And for those that don't know what that event is, we basically have Brock dress up as Santa, and we all dressed as little elves, and we go to Limsa Laminsa, and we give out gifts. And so the last time we did this, the lineup from people wanting to see Brock Santa went all the way down from the aft castle, like the place where the events are usually held. It went all the way from there, all the way up to the Warriors Guild, which is like the north end of Limsa. The line was huge. So the reason why I'm bringing this up at the town hall is we definitely need help, because the gifts don't just come out of nowhere. So if you guys have received anything that you want to donate towards the gift giveaway, please send them to myself, James, or any of the flares. James is going to be our vault for all of the items. So we're looking for glamour items, weapons, minions, anything that would make a nice little gift for somebody. We've also had some people donate Mog Station items, though that is not a requirement, and I don't even want to encourage that. But like, if you have things that I would say try to focus on things that are not common. So, for example, as you guys, the Morble minion that you get in Aurum Vale, you can get off the market board for like 1 gil. So if you have something that's semi rare or like not too common, I would say please please send them our way because we're gonna need gifts. Yeah, James is the Fallout Shelter rocket. He's holding all of the items for the event. So also if you want to help with the giveaway, we are looking for elves to dress up in the elf outfit, and we will be in there. Part of the help means running to other servers and doing a shout in all the populated zones periodically, making sure nobody cheats the system or cuts in line. Like we're just trying to. We had one person who cut in line like 3 times trying to get 3 separate gifts last year, and we were shouting, and eventually we had to say in shout chat, "You're now banned. You're not getting anything else." So, but if you want to help, please let me know in Discord so I can add you to the helpers list, and we will have a meeting closer to the time because James is going to need people to start taking the stuff from him and storing it. And so being an elf means you are also going to give away gifts. So yeah, please let us know. Becca, yeah, you can donate gil if you want, because last year we had 5 separate 1 million gil gifts that we gave out. But yeah, so that's the next major event. And because of how big it is and how much people enjoyed it last year, like even Tadalin you saw in FC chat was like, "That was you guys." Yeah, that was us. So we want to keep that up because it just exemplifies what Waltz is all about, and that's giving back to people, giving back to the greater community, you know. And Angelic mentioned it too. We need all the help we can get. It's true. We want to have as many people helping as possible because there's so many pieces to the puzzle. And if you want, if you are interested, you can take part in the meeting closer to that time, and we can start funneling gifts to you as well. So. And it's a ton of fun, yeah, like Angelic said. All right, I already touched on the mana points raffle, and I already touched on the holiday giveaway and logistics. Now the last thing is just random acts of kindness. I've kind of talked about that, how people talk about how friendly Waltz is. Just keep doing what you're doing already. Like I don't really have much feedback on things because Waltz is such a great place that there's so many good things that come my way. I rarely hear anything bad. So now I'm going to open it up for general questions now before we get into the final 2 topics. So does anybody have any questions about anything covered today or anything you want to point out? Could be related to the town hall, could be not related to the town hall, but you just want to ask a question in general. Please, now's the time. We'll have a couple minutes for that.
This is Kellen. May I have a moment?
You may have 1 moment only. I'm just kidding. Take as long as you need.
How long is a moment? Can make this moment last forever. Wait, never mind. So I just wanted to say, somebody got it. I wanted to say thank you to all the players for all their hard work, but especially thank you to you, Astari. You put so much effort into our community. Events and Powerball and doing these big things and just all kinds of things. You put so much effort into everything for all of us. I just wanted to say I appreciate you and thank you very much.
What do you want, Kellen?
Here.
I'm just kidding.
I don't want anything.
What's a hamburger?
I'm just kidding. Thank you for that.
Hamburger throwback.
Make a persuasion
He
check.
mashed on that Tinder date. I know he did.
Anything else? Kellen, was that it?
No, that was it.
Oh. Okay, I'm not good with compliments. For those that don't know me very well, what makes me happy in this game is seeing other people happy. So when
It wasn't a compliment. It was a thank you for doing your hard work.
Well, thank you anyways. But for me, the reason why I do those events and the reason why I put my time and effort into it is because when I see people excited and happy and having a good time, my happiness from this game actually comes from that. So yes, I talk in FC. Oh my god, I'm getting emotional. But yes, I talk in FC chat, and yes, I'm always around. But when you guys are happy and having what making my dream a reality, I guess I should say, make if I want to sound cheesy, but that's exactly what it is. Like when people in this FC are telling me how comfortable they are and how happy, it really feels like my vision is alive and it's not going anywhere. So stop being so awesome, but don't really, for real.
Never.
Reverse card. Shut up, Angelic. So I will never turn anybody away. I will never not be there for somebody if they need me to be. Whether it's even if it's not Final Fantasy related, if it's something going on in your personal life and you need to talk to somebody, you can reach out to me. I know other players feel the same, or even there's so many people in this FC that would lend a listening ear. So just know that no matter what you do in this game, you are supported and encouraged, and anything you do, or anything you want support with, just let us know, and we're here. So stop it, Angelic. You're gonna make me more emotional. I can't be. I'm not allowed to be. Oh, all right. So, anybody else want to add or point out anything? Somebody's mic is going.
Y'all are off though.
Min, you can just drop them in the FC chest, and we will move them into the right tab, or you can give them to any flayers to put in the correct tab. So.
Hold on. Kara wants to say something. Okay, there it goes.
Sorry about that. I just want to say that, well, first of all, I want to thank everyone in the FC for just being amazing, because these past few months for my college work have been a lot. And so I know it was announced a while ago, but in case anyone has forgotten or may not have known, I went ahead and got permission to go ahead and do an anthropology project about Waltz. And I'm currently finishing my term paper. And I promise that I will share my term paper and everything that's in it with Waltz, because this is about you guys. And all I can say is that it is amazing getting to write up the general themes of Waltz, that you guys are about positivity, you're about benefiting the community as a whole, and connecting that with anthropology concepts, knowing that you guys choose to be this way. It's been so emotional for me, and at the same time it's been so wonderful. Sometimes you guys have really gotten me through a really rough school year. So I just want to say thank you so much, and when I am finished, I will go ahead and pass everything that I have on to Ist, and he can share it as needed.
So I guess we can use this time to segue into the recognition part. So like I guess so Kara and Kellen started. Does anybody else want to pipe in?
Love to hear it.
I was gonna say, did everyone get that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Brought a tear to my eye, not gonna lie.
Oh, I guess I should not have been on mute when I was talking to myself there. But anyways, as I was saying, we can use that lovely anecdote from Kara to segue into the recognition part before the final topic. So if anybody wants to say anything, or recognize anybody else, this is a great opportunity to do it. So the floor is yours. We're going to have about 5 minutes or 10 minutes of this. So feel free to speak up, please. I know we have the thank you channel in Discord, which is a really great way for people to thank each other. So keep those coming because I love reading that stuff every day when I check my Discord. So if anybody wants to add any thank yous to anybody or call anybody out for exemplary behavior, wants to say anything about the FC, let me know.
I might have two people I could talk about. This is Raingood.
Okay, go ahead.
So like a couple weeks ago, it was winter. I was hanging out in the FC house, and I was like jumping around trying to get on top of the roof, right? And Winter was telling me how good they are at like jumping puzzles and stuff, right? And eventually they showed me how to get up top of the roof, which is fantastic. It also took me to my first time going to the Kugane Tower, and they stood there for like, I don't know, 2 hours as I fumbled my way up the tower, and I brought two of my friends to come try it too. And even after one of them beat me there, when we were still hanging out, like giving me tips and stuff, it was fantastic. It was a wonderful experience because like I've been playing the game for like 2 months. I'm not super vocal. I try and like chime in and like chat every once in a while, but that was like a wonderful experience. And like hung out with us up there, like doing G pose and stuff. It was great. And another person, who I didn't really have any, like much interaction with, but Becca Snow. I think their FC House apartment is. I was streaming to a couple of my friends on my Discord channel, and like there was 4 of them watching, and I walked into that room, and the way they have it like designed, it's like a bakery almost. It was one of the most like amazing things I've seen like in an MMO before. Like I used to play Warcraft, and like this is like, it's like in a way it's like super beautiful and just like makes me appreciate what you can do in this game and how people can express themselves even more in this game. It's nuts. All me and my 4 friends were blown away by it. It was just super impressive. So like even though they weren't there, it was like a great experience, right? So I just wanted to like talk about that.
Oh, how wholesome. I love that. And my favorite part about the recognition part of Town Hall is people don't understand the impact of their words on other people when you talk about good things. And I think how wholesome that is. So anybody recognizing somebody else, the person that you're recognizing probably feels on cloud 9. So keep them coming.
Definitely shout out to Hydribot then for always making everybody feel happy to log in. And I try to do randoms a lot, and I like to shout out at Grim for actually doing leveling roulettes and the stuff a lot of people don't want to do with me. So thank you.
There's more coming in FC chat too. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. I noticed Sky called my name. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't expect that. Thank you.
Flare of chicken nuggets. Oh.
Normally have to drag people through randoms by their tails.
Yeah, and then people helping each other is so wholesome too. And if somebody wants help with something, don't be scared to ask, because especially if you're trying to learn a new job and you're scared or you're uncomfortable, the best people to do that job with are people that aren't going to judge you, and that's the FC. So if you're doing that, you're trying out tanking for the first time, or you want to try out healing for the first time, ask a group of FC mates to do it with you. I love helping with anything that I can, especially if I get to Blue Mage. All right, so just to recap before the final topic then, we talked about the escalation process. We talked about a zero tolerance spoiler approach to Endwalker. We talked about raiding expectations and how Waltz is not raid focused, and we don't want anybody to have the expectation that this is a raiding FC. The focus of this FC is to bring people together and foster positive, wholesome community involvement from each other. We talked about our programs that are in the FC and events that you guys love that you want to see more of, which is great. We talked about the upcoming holiday giveaway. So the final thing I want to talk about before we wrap up is I promised this a year ago when they first announced it, but I mentioned that we were going to do a vote on whether the FC wants to move or attempt to move our house to Ishgard. So I'm going to put it's going to be a vote done in Discord through the announcements. And it's going to have it'll have a check mark or an X. So if you want us to move our FC house, we will post it. You can just click the check mark and that'll count as your vote. The important thing is to note that the housing system is getting vastly changed and there's no guarantee now that we'll be able to get there because it's supposed to be based on a lottery now, but I see a lot of yeses. You can just say, I just want to gauge general interest, and you can say in FC chat, who do you want the FC house to be moved to Ishgard? Yes or no in chat.
Is there less rain?
Snow.
Less rain, no cold.
Yeah, you can definitely
No, Kellen. That does
enter a bunch of people, right?
So because FC houses in Shirogane are not locked behind Shadow Stormblood. You can still teleport to the FC house even if you aren't in Heaven's Ward content, but you just won't be able to leave the zone into Ishgard. You'll have to teleport back somewhere else. For those that have their FC room decorated, everything moves as is. So your room would still be intact the way you decorated it. For those that are interested, the plot that we want for the FC house would be the one that's above the hot spring, the large that's above the hot spring. So the basement of our FC house will have a giant hot spring and a sauna and everything. Moonlight, if you haven't been to the firmament since it's been done, you should go take a look because the hot springs is in the very east section. All right, so I'll put the vote in Discord after the town hall is done, and everybody can just vote on it, and then obviously the majority vote will win. Yeah, but that is it. That is all she wrote for tonight's town hall. So thank you everybody for allowing me this hour and 48 minutes of your time. And does anybody have any feedback on the town hall? Is it something you guys like? Something you don't like? You can say it in FC chat. I'm guessing by all the cheers that everybody liked it. All right, so the last thing now is we're going to do our raffle. So this is a special raffle based on donated gifts. So Koya posted the spreadsheet in Say Chat. I posted the spreadsheet in voice chat text here in Discord. Please verify that your name is on the list that we have done. So far, we have 99 people on the list. If your name is not on that list, please reach out to Koya or myself, and we will add you. But this whole special raffle is based on Endwalker. So there's a lot of Fantasias that were donated from anonymous people. We have a copy of the Endwalker expansion, digital collector's edition that was donated. And then we have a couple of just other random stuff that has based on Endwalker. So, so one of the flavors just reminded me of something important that I do want to mention. We are, as I mentioned quite early on in the town hall, we are going to be doing a purge the day before the servers go down of anybody who's been offline outside of our inactivity guidelines, because we've been kind of lax right now because we haven't had a lot of incoming people. We've just not been removing those that have passed the inactivity guidelines, but they are going live again the day before the expansion. So we are going to purge a lot of people that are inactive, so we have space for people coming back. The other thing that we have to point out is we want to make sure that everybody's Discord name matches their in-game name, because we are going to be removing public access to our Discord, because right now our Discord is posted on the recruitment page on the Lodestone, so anybody can join. But we're going to be taking it down. We're going to be doing, we're going to be closing the server off because we don't want anybody to come in and spoil anything for anybody. So it's very important that your Discord name matches your in-game name, because during the purge on Wednesday, we will also be removing people from Discord who don't have a name in the FC, or who don't have a name, an in-game name. Not necessarily that are in the FC, because we have friends of the FC that are in the Discord, but it's like if it's just a Discord name and not an in-game name that we can't search, you're at risk to get removed. So please update your name. You can do it quite easily. Just go to the bot channel and you type $IM and then your server and then your first and then your last name. And then it will save your character data to your Discord profile in the Waltz server without you having to manually change anything. So yeah, please do that.
Since you're on the topic of pre-Endwalker tip, warnings, one little extra thing I think everyone should know in case you haven't already heard about it from the live letters or anything. Belts are going away. If you have in-between level XP left for certain jobs, you might want to try and get your job to the next level, because after the servers come back up, all that will be gone. So just be aware of that. And you won't be able to get high quality materials from gathering anymore.
Yeah, so you can read all that stuff on the Lodestone, any updates that are coming. They will be posting the preliminary patch notes likely on Tuesday or Wednesday. So you can read the preliminary patch notes because there's no spoilers in there really, and it will tell you all of these details. And then once the servers go down, will be the full release of patch notes. So, all right, so let's jump into the raffle now. If you've noticed your name not in there, please reach out because we're about to start it. In response to the copy of the Endwalker expansion, because we know that some people play on PlayStation and some people play on PC, we decided to just not buy an out. The person who donated this decided to not just buy an outright copy of the game, because we didn't know if somebody with PlayStation was going to win or not. So what we've decided to do this time is instead it's a $60 Visa gift card that you can then use to purchase the expansion on either platform. So that is how we're going to be doing that. So we'll start with the Fantasia draw. These are for game item codes for Fantasias, and anybody who's interested in being a bunny boy, this is a great option for you. If you win the Fantasia and you don't actually want it, and you know somebody that would want it, what you do with the code after I give it to you is entirely up to you. But yes, I'm gonna wait 1 more minute to do the draw just to make sure that everybody is in there. So please check the link for your name. If you're not in the list, you can do a Control F to find yourself. If you're not in the list, let me know. And I'll do the draw. I'll start the draw. Koya, anybody reached out to you? Okay. All right, so we'll start with the first Fantasia draw. Hopefully somebody will be rewarded. And let's see, first one. So how many tickets do we have? We have 99. Okay, so the raffle will be out of 99. So first raffle for the first Fantasia is going to Aya. Congrats. Aya, yay. Is it ya or yay? I don't know.
I think it's yeah.
Oh, aya, ya. Oh, that's amazing, actually. I love it. I love it. All right, so the first one goes to you. Amazing. The next Fantasia is going to Ozetta. You get a Fantasia too. Congratulations. All right. Next Fantasia is going to number 1, she. Yay, she. Congrats. Yay. Okay. Next Fantasia is going to number 64, which is Marshall. Marshall Keen. Congrats on your Fantasia code. You can be a bunny boy or any other race like Lala, which is the god race. Anyways. All right, so the next Fantasia code is going to number 59, which is Nixa. Congratulations, Nixa. All right. So that is all of the Fantasias. Oh, Grim, nice pun. So now we're going to do the Starlight Bear Mount. 'Tis the season.
Where's the talking that everyone's doing?
What talking?
No, where's the chat?
What chat?
Oh, what?
Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had myself muted.
Yelling right into the mic.
No, sorry.
You yelled right into the mic.
Gotta love it. No, because I keep saying, hearing that people are chatting somewhere, and I don't see it anywhere.
We're in the FC basement.
Oh, that's where it is. My apologies. I thought I had myself muted. I did not mean to just yell in here.
Okay, the next, the first Starlight Bear Mount is going to number 29, Aya. So you can't win 2, unfortunately. So I have to redraw. That is sad. What are the odds, though?
What are the odds?
Yeah, play the lottery. Holy cow.
Gotta play the lottery, Aya.
It's like 1 in 1,000 or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the redraw for the Starlight Bear.
This is the remix.
69.
God.
Good number.
Damn it.
Hey, I already have this mount,
The
so I'm
dice are
going to
loaded.
redraw because I already have that mount. So redrawing for the first Starlight Bear mount. Number 49 this time. Trinity. You get a Starlight Bear. Yay.
1 point.
A lot of 9s.
I know. Okay. The second Starlight Bear mount is going to 50. Antonin. Starlight Bear for Antonin. Congrats. All right, so now in the spirit of the expansion, we're going to do a draw for a Matonga lamp, which is a furnishing item. It's a giant elephant, and it looks pretty awesome, which is the theme of the expansion. So the Matonga is going to number 16, which is Soliloquy. You get a giant elephant.
Yeah.
Oops. All right, so the next 2 we'll do is the wind up Namazu and Fat Cat Minion. There's 2 separate draws. So wind up Namazu is going to number 6, which is Bayrin. You get a Namazu.
I love Namazu so much.
They are cute.
Oh, I'm not muted anymore. I gotta be careful.
And now the fat cat minion is going to number 72, which is Cecil Harvey. Cecil Zos Harvey. You get a fat cat minion, the fattest of the fat cats.
Hell yeah. Does the little one make that noise too?
All right, so now we have a donation from the Waltz shop, which will have your character's name on it and your chosen job crystal. So if you want to be if you want a mug with your character's name on it and whatever job stone you're choosing to play in Endwalker, this is the next prize. So a custom-made Waltz mug with your character name and job stone on it, and it's going to. So please, so Koya is the one that's going to be sending that to you. So if you win, please reach out to them with your job crystal choice, and they will get that sent to you. So that is going to 18. Aya Fier. Congratulations. Custom mug for Aya. All right, so the final one now is for the roundabout copy of Endwalker expansion. So again, just to clarify, this is a $60 gift card, Visa gift card for if you already have the expansion. You can use it for whatever you want. I would say, though, if you win it and you have the expansion already, but you know somebody who's struggling, what you do with that Visa gift card is up to you. But yes, just putting that out there. So the copy of Endwalker expansion, aka the gift card, is going to somebody's doing a drum roll. Number 31, Naylin Loon. Congratulations.
Do. One like, one thank.
Perfect. Amazing. So, okay, so I will reach out to the winners via Discord, except for the mug winner. Please reach out to Koya so that they you can organize your custom mug, which I want to see a picture of when you get. But yes, thank you again, everybody, for your time today, and looking forward to the next town hall. And I hope you guys. Oh, actually, never mind. Pause. Naylan has asked me to redraw the Endwalker expansion because they already have it and they want it to go to somebody that actually needs it. So I'm going to redraw.
That's kind.
That's very nice of you. All right, so the next one is going to 25. You know, you get the oh, we're redrawing again. Okay, next, here we go.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Can we go for 5? Let's go for 5.
Doesn't have it.
66.
Yeah, no, just jump if you have it.
Zyla Vishara. That's a good question. Is there anybody who has not pre-ordered? Because I can just
Zyla reroll.
Everyone jump if you have it. Oh no, what have I done?
Oh no!
God, it's like the whole group.
What have I created?
Okay.
I regret nothing.
Might be a little trickier than you thought.
Okay, so Moonlight knows somebody who actually needs it. Does anybody?
Okay, wait, now jump.
Wait, I actually have questions in chat. So I see Ayana Soraya doesn't have it, and I see Valeria's girlfriend doesn't have it. How about this? send me a DM if you know somebody who has not purchased the expansion, and I will do a draw at Monday's lottery for those people to win the gift card, because nobody wants the expansion if they already have it. So just send me a list via Discord or whoever it is, and I'll put a list together of who needs it, and then we'll do a draw.
I would also like to apologize again for randomly yelling out in chat.
It's okay.
I'll never forgive you.
I know. No, I don't deserve it.
If we punished everyone who randomly yelled out in chat, we'd have nobody left in this FC.
Just a reminder, they do have to be a Waltz member to qualify for this as well. So a current Waltz member. So if they've been removed for inactivity, they don't qualify. So you have to be a current member. All right. So now we can wrap it up then. I'll just hold on to the gift card until Monday's draw until I get that list together. And we will go from there. So thank you very much. And I will see you all soon. Please come on Wednesday night because we are going to be doing a massive FC photo. It is tradition for the FC to do a company-wide picture the night before the expansion. So come on out so we can get a big picture together. So awesome.
What time are you going to do that picture?
It'd be probably 9 o'clock Eastern. So I'll announce it on Discord. All right.
Yeah, I won't be there. Okay.
Have an amazing night, everybody, and I will see you all around. Thanks again for making me a proud FC leader. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you.